I'm gonna start recording just like this. I'm gonna start recording like this. Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, everybody? Do not hold your breath. Hold my breath. That's a new challenge for the month of December. Might as well start it. The month already started without you. Get it? Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot of stuff. There's lists and things and all sorts of jazzmatazz happening on all sides. And sometimes that's the best time. They say if you want something done, give it to the busiest guy in the room, right? So maybe I'm the busiest guy in the room right now, but probably not. Probably not. I've heard it's the busiest. He's the best. People say, people tell me. Yeah, anyway, that's my terrible Donald Trump impression. We added a core value, just in case you were curious about which one it was. You might have to take action and find out. Aaron brought up curiosity as, you know, when we first came up with the core values as one that might be missing here. And then we kind of talked about it and figured out that curiosity creates action. You know, it inspires you to action. We didn't want to use the word inspiration. I think we both kind of felt it was just a little bit like less assertive. Like action is the right word. We tried a few different ones out and looked around, and we both came together on action. And so those who are curious and constantly seek more knowledge and capability live in a limitless world. And so long as they act upon the knowledge they uncover, they become the masters of their own destiny. I put 2 periods on that one, actually. I just realized I have to edit that shit. So, yeah, curiosity. I'm curious to hear what everyone would think. If you put comments on this thing, I might get, more than 5 views on a video. I don't really give a shit. We're not doing it for views. We're doing this really for part of it for posterity, part of it for practice, part of it for persistence, for challenge, to learn new things, really. I wanted to learn how to do some podcasting, and I learned how hard it is to edit stuff, that's for sure. I learned that it's not as easy as it looks to just kind of talk to the camera, that you have to have something somewhat prepared. So I wrote something down. I'm not sure if it was on this or if I think I was talking to Aaron in that interview that I just posted up about a week ago about strategy versus planning, I think is the word that I used. And I've since maintained that question in the back of my head. I saw something that Jocko Willink was talking about strategy versus tactics. And I think that maybe Mike Glover might have covered this as well in one of his one-off, just talking to the camera podcasts, which are cool to watch if you check out Mike Glover actual. He's a super solid guy. Been through some stuff in life and has come out better for it on the other side. So he's a good example to people who go through struggles for, how to confront and face the challenges that life throws at you in the best possible way and maintain yourself as an example to others. So Mike's a good guy. It seems from his online content. Never met him in person, but he has some good things to say. And one of those, I think it was Jocko that was talking about strategy being the big picture. We're going to go in to this country and we're going to take this town and we're going to put, this group of people in power and give them these resources and teach them this stuff, whatever. But the tactics would be, today we need to go to that particular road and talk to this particular person at this address. And we're going to say this script of things and we need to cover all these points. So I'm watering that down into big picture and detail, right? So you've got a big picture perspective and a detailed perspective. And what I kind of laid out here when you're creating a sight picture and you're trying to hit a target with a firearm, what you want to do is you want to come from the fundamentals, but the goal is there. It's already set off in the distance. It's your target. It's right here. You can't see me no more. That's your target over there. And then when you have your firearm there, you have a rear sight and a front sight, and you line those up together. Or if you have a red dot, you can just line the dot up. But the traditional way is you use the rear sight and the front sight, and you line the barrel of the weapon up to make sure that it's lined up, and then you put that front, sight on the goal that's the furthest goal. So if you're lost in the details, which I sometimes get lost in the details and currently am lost in space. I have this list of like 30 fucking things on the wall over here. And it gets overwhelming at times. And so talking to Aaron about it the other day, he said, just share the to-do list, and then we can go through and prioritize, and then we can just make sure we're refocused on the priorities and start nailing those down. Because sometimes you'll take care of a priority and that'll knock 10 of the other things off of the list, because it's a reactive, it's a proactive measure that actually the reaction of it nails out some other things that happen to be on that to-do list. So the goal, the end goal, is the ultimate vision for the company in this case. And then the sights on the pistol are like the strategy that we're going to use to be able to accomplish that goal. But that strategy is generally not something that you're going to just do in a day. It's not something you're just going to go and knock out even in a week. It's a strategy. So it's a longer term plan. And then the tactics are what you use to implement that strategy. So in that sense, going back to the shooting analogy, that would be your grip. That would be your stance of where you are, how you're holding your arms, where the muscles are tightened up. And that's where the long to-do list comes in. So if you check those things off one at a time, and you make sure that your stance is right, your grip is right, that you have your extension done the right way, and now you're going to go ahead and line up your strategy. And then you're going to make sure that you move that finger the right way and that you're not moving things around when you pull the trigger. And so all those checklists that are here and now in the body, those you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And the most important part is to keep your sights fixed on that goal. Right? The strategy is how you get there. It's the line that takes you there. And the goal stays in your sights, right? So you have to keep the goal lined up with the sights, and then you do the to-dos, you do your little tactics and your little adjustments, and make sure you get to that final trigger pull. And then once you break that shot, now you can actually see if your strategy worked and if your tactics worked. And if not, you need to change your tactics. You need to make sure and realign your strategy and make sure that your strategy is right. So I'm trying to get through this and kind of walk through this for my own peace of mind and understanding. And this is partly just like a journal. This whole podcasting is partly just like a journal entry. And so, if you can keep a straight line and you can keep a sight picture of your ultimate goal, your vision, your overall plan or your strategy, and then your tactics, which is your to-do list, your item by item, and you knock those things off one after the other in the right order, then you'll hit your mark, right? So while many of us obsess over the goal, the distance, the yearning, the longing for, being at that goal, the desire to have it done, what the successful do is establish a goal and strategy, and then they launch from the base of fundamentals and tactics, and they stay in those tactics and do them day after day after day. That's why you hear all these messages about persistence, about atomic habits, about 1% every day, just moving forward, moving the needle. And so if you can get to that through the execution of the fundamentals and the tactics, and you stay on that day after day until the goal is reached, sometimes you can delegate those tactics. And oftentimes they have to be delegated because sometimes that to-do list gets so out of proportion that you need to actually be able to delegate some of that to other people. And that actually strengthens the capacity of your team to be able to execute within the same vision or have the same goal, same target. But they're never left to the wayside. So those tactics, those to-do things, you can't just leave them off to the wayside. You can't put them off till tomorrow. You can't, just wing it and just jump over the tactics and just sort of point and shoot and, sometimes get lucky. I mean, you can, but you don't really yield the best results that way. So those tactics might be delegated, but they're always double checked to make sure that we're moving closer to the goal along the line of that strategy. So making sure that your sight picture is correct with your rear and front sights aligned with your final destination. So that's what I've got for today. That's my daily ramble. I'm going to go ahead and post an interview with Marlon Alexis Bendizu Quispe, my boy, it's going to be all in Spanish. I might post a couple of episodes, and I'm going to put it on the interviews channel. I'm going to put it on a separate channel because it's all in Spanish. So I'm going to put it on the Artesanos Clandestinos. I think they're called playlists on this channel. So it'll be on the Don't Hold Your Breath YouTube channel under playlists. If you go to playlists, you can see the playlist of the daily check-ins like this one. And then you can see the interviews. And then you'll see one that's called Artesanos Clandestinos. So if you speak Spanish, go ahead and go over there and check it out. When I get a chance to actually go in and get a translation and do some subtitles in there, or maybe even overdub, I don't know. I got to work with some AI stuff and figure that stuff out. When I get a chance to do that, I'll post up a little one of these how you doings and let you know at that point. But right now it's all going to be in Spanish. It is a really useful, if you run kitchens, really if you run businesses of any kind where people are speaking Spanish and you want to be able to give them some information about, we're going to start off the first couple episodes talking about kitchens. Then I believe we went into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich and went through some different themes on that one. And then I think we went into Dale Carnegie book and then went to, I forget who he's reading right now, but he's reading stuff. And so he'll bring it and we'll talk about it. And it's a really good practice for him to be able to reiterate his understanding of what he's reading, to be able to retain that information. And then it's also really good for us to be able to share with teams that we're building who speak Spanish and be able to get that message across, those messages across. So check it out when you get a chance. Don't hold your breath. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll have a couple more interviews posting up through the next couple of weeks. I got my boy JJ's interview coming up very, very soon, my brother. Patty Thornton came by and talked today. Really great conversation with her. She was unfortunately short-lived, but really great person to work with when I was with KP's Kitchen doing some consulting with them. You'll hear a little bit in the interview. The management styles didn't really mesh up. So she's no longer with them. She's going to be moving back to New York, and she's got some opportunities she's working on up there. So, but those will be coming up. If anybody else wants to do an interview, if you happen to see this and you want to come on the podcast, reach out, let me know, make a comment, send an email to the Don't Hold Your Breath Gmail account that's associated with this. Or if you know me, ping me. Ciao, bellezze.